GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
Hey guys, I'm Felissa Rose. This is Darcy DeMoss.
Hey, this is Deborah Voorhees.
Hi, this is Catherine Comia.
Hey everybody, this is Lauren Marie Taylor wishing you a happy Halloween. You are listening to the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robbie Vegas.
What's up, rock soldiers? This is the Rockstar Robbie Vegas with another episode of the All Bets Are Off podcast. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate all the love we received last week for the Julia Lager interview, current bassist of Vixen. And if you guys are not already, or if you're first-time listeners, please subscribe to the show, rate it, review it. It helps us greatly. And follow us on social media at ABAO Pod on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We don't have anything else but those three things, at the moment anyways. So today, I am joined by a good friend of mine who I met doing some WWE extra work. The Italian excellence, Mambo Italiano, is here today, and I don't want to kill any more time here, so let's just get Mambo on the line and get this interview rolling for you guys. All right, Mambo, so first time on the All Bets Are Off podcast. I appreciate you being here, man.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for all the listener.
Yeah, of course, man. So I just pulled the curtain back just a little bit right off the bat. We know each other for maybe a little over a year now.
Yeah, right. A year.
From doing. Yeah. I think you're exactly right.
August 22.
That's right. And we met doing some of that WWE extra work that everybody famously hears so much about.
Yes.
But this is the first time that you're going to be on the All Bets Are Off podcast. So we need to start way back at the beginning. And I need to know, what year did you actually start wrestling? And I do want the listeners to know that this would be when you lived in Italy.
So I originally started wrestling in 2013 in Italy, but was kind of like not that great at the time over there. Right now it's like amazing. Like there is so many promotions, they make a lot of crowds. So like right now it's good. Before that, they didn't have too many promotion, and the quality of the trainer and training unfortunately wasn't good enough. So I really don't count the first 2 years of me wrestling in Italy because it was kind of like not great. So I officially start in 2015 when I went and trained in Canada with Lance Storm. That's the year that I consider like, okay, that I got my professional training from an important person.
Yeah.
So is the year that I start.
So you had a little bit of experience going into the Lance Storm training, but did it catch you off guard at all? Was it like completely different than what you were used to?
It wasn't completely different. It was just like more professional and with all the details, the like big promotion are looking for. Was more, it wasn't just like, hey, that's the move, blah blah. It was more like to get you ready to be on TV. Right.
So what made you, what made you choose Lance Storm?
At the time, my English wasn't the best. I mean, I'm still working on, but like at the time was horrible, and was like one of my friend from Italy. His wrestling name is Rocco Garcia. He's currently living in London in UK. That was going to Lance Storm for training himself, and he was like, "You want to come with me?" I was like, "Sure."
Okay, cool. So
of course, I knew who Lance was, and I know he was a great trainer, and I was looking at his school. But the final decision why I went to Lance, it's also because my friend, who is really good in English and at the time was already, he was able to translate for me. My own, I was scared if I was going by myself. I wasn't able to understand the class, the knowledge. I was like, I'm gonna go there without knowing the language. It's kind of like waste of a time if I'm going by myself.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. Now, let's take just one more step back. And what made you want to even start wrestling in the first place?
I just watched on TV, like in around 2006, 2007 was when like the WWE was booming in Italy and went on national television and became like big. Like everybody was talking about wrestling in school. Like you go into any grocery store, they have action figure, wrestling video game, like everything was wrestling. So that was when I first discovered what wrestling it is. And I started watching from from the TV, like I think a lot of us as well. With SmackDown was on national television. For Raw, you have to pay it, and my mom didn't pay for. And from there, I just looked for a wrestling school near me, and after 6 years, I found one.
So you find the wrestling school in 2013, but then you re-up with your training with Lance Storm in 2015.
Yes.
And that, of course, was in Calgary, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So what brings you to the States?
So, of course, after that experience at Lance Storm School, I went back in Italy for a period of time. I wrestled in Italy for like a couple of years, all over the promotion in Italy. I wrestled in Germany, Denmark, France, Sweden, and that's it, I think, in Europe. So I wrestled like a lot in Europe, but eventually my dream was to try to be on national television. It can be WWE, can be AEW, can be any other major promotion. That's my dream to succeed in this sport. And I knew if I was staying in Europe, it was probably harder to get noticed from the biggest company, because the biggest company, they're here in USA. So if I really want to do that, I needed to move here.
So it was wrestling that brought you to the States. That was your sole reason for coming here.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So that's awesome. And I want to just, again, not to jump all over the place, but who was inspiring you at the time as far as who was in the big leagues when you were just breaking in? And is it different now?
Is it different now? Yes. At the time, I want to say that like Eddie Guerrero, like Rey Mysterio was like the guys that was like catching my attention for like the high fly maneuver and all the cool spot. And right now, I'm more interested on the entertaining part of the sport. Like now, my favorite wrestlers in general, they're like Ric Flair, The Miz, LA Knight currently is one of the top. I like the people that they can just go outside with a microphone, not even wrestle, and be on the top of their game.
Yeah, no, I'm on the same page as you for that. And I think that's why we get along when we're talking wrestling. So I got to know then, so how many years now have you been doing the WWE extra work?
The first time was in 2018, so about 5 years.
Okay, so right around the same time that I started doing mine.
Yes.
So to me, a lot of things have changed since we started doing it to now. Do you feel the same?
I feel the same as well. I also, we are older. We understand better what's going on. We are more professional. I feel like, that it's a little bit different, but we also like in a better way.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And somebody like you who does it so frequently, what would your advice be to, say, just a green guy, young guy, rookie, maybe somebody who didn't even break in yet, but they want to do WWE extra work? Because there are people out there that will tell them it's not worth it. Me and you obviously disagree with that. So what would your advice be to that person coming to you and saying, why should I do this?
For me, I feel like it's your foot in the door. Like every time we're doing extra work and Mr. Regal spend the time to talk with us, he always like highlights, if you guys are here, is because you did something good outside of here. That's why we trust you to be here for any spot you're going to do tonight. Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's a match, maybe it's whatever it is, but there is a reason why you are here. Like we select these 7-8 people to be here today from all over the States. There is a reason for it. So I feel like it's important to make connection to have your first step towards your goal in this way. Yeah. So a lot of people say like it's not important because eventually you're going to do a little security spot and you're definitely not going to get signed out of the security spot. I agree with that. But it's also important to make connection that they know who you are, they know your face, you might have time to talk with somebody and explain something, and you never know what's come out from there. Like I'd rather be there than be at home.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree with that. And I think now so more than ever, because now, which is one of the changes that we've seen in the last 5-6 years of doing extra work, is we see the same people over and over again.
Yes.
But, at first it was kind of like the Wild West. We didn't know who was going to be there, what we were going to see. And now, like, it's, I won't throw out anybody else's name who I haven't had on the show yet, but I know when I walk in there, I'm most likely going to see you, and there's about 3-4 other people that were the reoccurring people that keep coming.
Yes. So that's really nice. So it's mean that, like that we are doing something good, and I hope that that's gonna work for us along the way on the next years, on getting something more from the extra work, maybe a trial, maybe a contract, maybe something.
It could be anything because right place, right time, right?
Correct.
So now, when you went into first starting to do the extra work, did you feel prepared? Did you feel ready? Were you nervous? Like, what was going on when that first started happening?
The first time I was really nervous. I was like shitting myself, to be honest. I was excited, like to go there and see like all the people that you see on TV that you never saw in your life that close. I was really nervous, and at the time they were still doing like the tryout match before SmackDown. Yeah. So that was something that was really important at the time that they're not doing anymore. So because the extra had the opportunity to showcase for a 5-minute match before the doors open in front of like producer or referees or like agent or whoever was interested on give us a look. So that was something important. I had the opportunity to do 2 of those matches. That was like the first 2 times I did extra work. And then after that, they stopped doing those type of matches.
Mm-hmm. But you did end up getting some TV time, not just with security spots or backstage segments, but you actually did have a match against Omos. And I think that was the day that I met you, actually.
Yes, that's the day we met. Yes.
Yeah. So that's our anniversary.
Yes, that was our anniversary. Yes. That's what I remember. It was August 2022.
Yeah. So walk us through the thought process of that, having that match.
So that was really important for me. It was almost like, I consider it still as today one of the most important moments of my life or career in professional wrestling. Because, if I think like I moved from Italy by myself, without my family, without any guarantee in USA to try to be on national television. And I did, even if for one night for a few minutes, but it was almost like a little achievement of all the sacrifice that I did so far. And the process was nice because like everybody, the producer and Omas and MVP and the producer was Kenny, they were all super friendly. They were all like nice with us. Like the atmosphere was cool. So they make me feel like ready for it, and I was ready for it.
Yeah.
So I was excited, but I wasn't stressed, like nervous at all. Honestly.
Oh wow, okay.
I was surprised.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And for the people listening, you can go and watch that match now. It is, obviously it's streaming on Peacock, or you can find it on YouTube and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's on YouTube. It's actually on YouTube on the WWE channel.
Oh, perfect. Even better. And you know what? I'll find it and I'll link it. So if anybody's listening to this, they can just go below and click the link and watch the match. I got to say, I wanted to mention too, when you said Kenny, you mean Kenny Dykstra for the listeners, former Spirit Squad member, was the producer for that match that day.
Yes.
And that was a big stepping stone for you. But I also recall you doing a match with Kazarian for AEW Dark. So you're getting these opportunities. Now, was that scenario a little different, a little less nerve-wracking? Like, what happened, with that one?
That was a little bit different just because, was my second time doing extra work from AEW, so I was still new with all the face on the backstage, like the wrestlers. When I did since I was doing extra work for WWE for several years, I was felt like more relaxed, if that makes any sense. Instead, there everything was new, so I was a little bit more nervous for that, honestly. Okay. But after that, Kazarian was amazing. He was nice with me. He wanted me to do stuff. He didn't want to just squash me. So it was actually a good match, and I was happy about it. The producer were happy about it. That was a great experience. And again, everyone was amazing. Frankie,
and we can still watch that on YouTube, right?
Yes, it's the one of the episodes of AEW Dark. I don't remember the number of the episode on the top of my mind.
Okay, I mean, hey, we'll find it and we'll get that link too, because we want the listeners to check these things out, of course. So aside from the extra work with WWE and AEW and things like that, you're a guy who is very dedicated to going to the gym.
Yes.
Was that always you, or is that because of wrestling?
I want to say it was always me, but I want to say that the fact that doing professional wrestling is definitely make it times 10. I was working out even before wrestling, but it was more like to do something. So it wasn't just for any goal. We're just like, okay, I'm going to the gym. Some of my friends going to the gym. It's fun, like doing some exercise. I wasn't following like any diet or like nothing like that. Was more like relaxing. Yeah.
So now you're in there with the sole purpose of being the best you can be for the wrestling business. And
correct.
You have gotten, bigger, as in more muscular over the years. What's your training regimen or your diet like, just for people listening who maybe want to do the same thing you're doing?
So I feel like that whenever you want to start like some new diet for bulking, or to try to gain weight, we know that eventually you want to eat clean, and you don't need eventually to follow a super strict diet. If you eat clean food, like rice, chicken, for carbs, chicken or rice and potato and fish and vegetables and yogurt and protein shake, eventually those are eggs. That's the 6, 7, 8 component that you need during the day. And then it's about the stage of the training that you're doing during the year. If you're trying to bulk mass or if you're trying to cut, you can play with the macros, but everybody's different. So everybody, they're kind of able to figure it out, what is work best for them, because I need a lot of calories to try to bulk, and other people instead, they need half of the calories to bulk way more than me. Just it's really different by each single person.
Did you figure out all of this on your own, or did you have help with the whole exercise, diet, what to eat kind of stuff?
I had a personal trainer, and I still
you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very
even
cool.
By now I feel pretty knowledgeable that at least for the diet part, it's more also for the training part. Eventually the exercise are always the same, and it's about the type of training that you're doing. You're just doing higher reps and lower weight, or lower reps and higher weight. So it's about if you're trying to build strength and mass, or if you try to cut it up a little bit.
So when you're in the gym, what kind of music are you listening to?
I'm shuffling from everything. I'm going from Italian music, rock music, metal. I really like the EDM music, so I'm just going on YouTube and check some Tomorrowland show. Timmy Trumpet is one of my favorite DJ. So I sometimes just listen for all the time of the workout, his concert at Tomorrowland.
So when you're in the gym, you're getting ready, you got your music on and all that stuff, are you, and this is different for every wrestler that I've ever asked this to, so this will be interesting, are you always going through wrestling scenarios in your head?
Yes, I cut promo in my head by myself. I think about moves. I think about something that can happen in the next show, and try to figure out how, and eventually it's not gonna happen. But yeah, I'm going through a lot of the wrestling stuff.
Yeah, it's like a thing programmed into wrestlers. Whenever you're doing something that has physical activity involved, you start thinking of spots and
Yeah, I just start to think about something for wrestling for some reason.
So you've been in the business for a long time now. You've wrestled in different countries, different states. You trained with Lance Storm. Who are some of your favorite opponents over the years that you've had?
That's a tough question.
Yeah, because you're afraid to leave somebody out.
No. I want to say that one of my best matches so far in my career, I want to say, is with the big-time Bill Collier. I feel that he's one of the best wrestlers on the independent scene today. He is from the past 5-10 years. Every time I see him, I don't know. I don't know why he's not signed nowhere. But I always ask myself this question. I feel like he's one of the best matches that I have. Also, like, of course, like I said before, Frankie Kazarian was a really good match, and especially was on national television. So, like, I'm really proud of that match as well.
Yeah.
Those are the two that came out in my mind. I need to think about more other great opponents.
Do you have anybody that you haven't faced yet that is on like a list that you do want to check off?
I know this guy from Buffalo. His name is Robbie Vegas, you know. I want to beat him so hard.
Way to throw that plug in there for me.
Yes, keep that spot open.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? We will. We're going to find a place to do it, especially now because you have wrestled up in Buffalo a couple of times on shows that I've been on, and I know we were talking about
yes,
possibly having me come down to Pennsylvania for some shows, and wrestlers just, for people that aren't in the business, they don't really know how it works, even though they think they know how it works. But we do get shuffled back and forth to all these different places all the time. So at some point, those paths will cross.
Yes, they have to. Yes, we will make that happen.
What about as far as, so you mentioned Omos and Kazarian being like stepping stone, like goals. So what would you say on a bucket list of just things you want to accomplish in the wrestling business? Just give me a couple.
I would like to get a tryout with WWE or like I feel like all the extra work that I did, I probably proved that I'm professional, or they wouldn't call me. That every time they ask me to do something, I do it correctly, or again, I don't think they would call me again if I messed up something. So I really wish that I can have like a tryout to show what I can do.
Yeah, no,
that's
absolutely.
A bucket list.
And you would tell me about it first.
Or also, like, of course, like with other promotion as well, has like WWE, they're doing the 3 days tryout.
Yeah.
Other promotion, they don't do that, but maybe sometimes when your name is on the top of their list, they might call you as an extra, and instead of a squash match, they give like a real like a 5-8 minute match, like competitive. So that's their sort of like tryout. So I wish like that I can get some sort of tryout the way that they're doing their tryout in some biggest company, so that I can show them what I can do and what I cannot do, and from there they can give me some sort of answer. So that's definitely my goal.
Okay, cool. Just a couple more things here for you before I let you get out of here. First one is I want you to plug any upcoming shows that you have, for rest of October or November, December, whatever you got for the year. Plug them all right now.
All right. So this Saturday, I'm gonna have IWC in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for Super Indie. So it's like a super big show for the Super Indie tournament. I'm also gonna debut in a new promotion in Virginia. It's called Mid-South Wrestling Territory. That's gonna be also in October. In November, we're gonna have IWC again. We're gonna have 2 shows. We're gonna have Wrestler Rex here in Pittsburgh. It's an amazing show in a club. Like that's great. I'm also gonna debut on Tree Legacy Wrestling in November in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And what else I have? I'm gonna debut in 5 Star Wrestling, Central PA. Williamsport, Pennsylvania. What else? I have to double check. Those are the ones that pop up in my mind.
Man, you're a busy guy.
Especially in November, I have like a lot of shows coming.
Yeah, and a few debuts too, which is huge. That's really good.
So that's nice to get.
Yeah, and
my face is new place, meet new people, new promoter, new wrestler, new everything. So
absolutely. And that goes to show too what I was saying a few minutes ago about indie wrestlers. Do we just shuffle all over the place? Like you just drop promotions all over the place there. And then before we really wrap this up, I want you to plug your social media so that anybody who listens to the show who's a fan of indie wrestling can follow you. And then when you do get more shows and more appearances and things like that, they can know where to find you.
Yeah, so all my social media is under like the Italian Excellence Mambo Italiano or just Mambo Italiano. So like you can find me really easily with that.
All right, cool. Well, dude, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. And we will definitely have that match.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for all the listener.
All right, man. We will catch you next time because I have a feeling that you might be back on the show sometime.
I hope soon.
All right, rockers. Thank you once again for joining me. Follow Mambo on social media. Keep up with where he's going to be next. And we will see you guys next week on the All Bets Are Off podcast.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.